Hey folks, Spelljammer Adventures in Space just came out today, and I am super excited to check out the races. Let's go through them together. My name's Alex Story, welcome back to The Fire, and today we're going to take a look at the new races in Spelljammer Adventures in Space. So there's 6 new races, and rather than me kind of giving you an overview after me taking some time to look at it, I'm just going to give you a first look, because I literally just got this version of Spelljammer today. This is the Roll20 version, and so I thought I'd give you a first look as I react to these new races. I've gotten kind of like a quick overview. Obviously, I know, you know, an Astral Elf is an elf, for example, but I haven't really looked at the stats too much, so let's take a look together. So, like I said, there are 6 different races in this new book, Adventures in Space, and they're the Astral Elf, the Autognome, the Giff, the Hadozee, the Plasmoid, and the Thri-Kreen. And from what I can tell, the Astral Elf is just kind of like an elf from the astral plane. Autognome is a robot, which sounds pretty awesome. So a mechanical gnome which has free will. A Giff, I've seen these as monsters before. They're these kind of hippo people with like, from my memory here, I remember a hippo with a monocle with a big old gun. So this is going to be an interesting race to look at. And then Hadozee is a simian being, so it looks like monkey people who adapt well to the hazards of wild space. And then Plasmoids are amoeba-like people, so like slimes, I guess. And then Thri-Kreen are telepathic insectile beings, so you can play a bug person, which is awesome. As far as the different race stats go, I think they're going to go with the where you can just choose your own ability scores, kind of like started with Tasha's, where you can increase one of those scores by 2 and increase a different one by 1. And then, yeah, it looks like you can pick one language of your choice and one that is common. And yeah, of course, that's pretty much it. So, kind of giving you that autonomy as the player to kind of decide those stats. I think it's awesome. Gives a lot more customizability to the way players make their characters. So first off, let's start with the Astral Elf. So Astral Elves, my first reaction here is the art looks amazing. Let me go ahead and zoom in here. So we have these 2 elves, and one thing I love is their eyes. It looks like they have kind of a little starlight right in their eyes. That's just a cool look to it, kind of like black with like that yellow in there. And then I love the art here of the woman presenting person, and it looks like they have almost like a elven space suit going on with the helm here. I like that a lot. I think that helmet looks really cool. It looks very spacey. It looks very Spelljammery, I should say. And I'm really excited to see if there's additional art in my physical book whenever that comes in the mail here. But that's the Astral Elf, and kind of reading what they have going on for their traits. Very similar stuff to a traditional elf. We have humanoid, medium, 30-foot walking speed. Astral Fire, that's brand new. Let me read through that real quick. So it looks like they get a free cantrip, Dancing Lights, Light, or Sacred Flame, which is a damage-dealing cantrip, which can be useful if you pick like a martial class just to get a free damage spell. And they can choose between Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma as their spellcasting ability, which is fantastic. I mean, yeah, wow. So you could be, you know, somebody with high Charisma or high Wisdom as like a more martial class and still do pretty solid with your DC for your Sacred Flame here, which is pretty awesome. Normal Dark Vision, normal Fey Entropy, it looks like, and Starlight Step. So this is new as well. So as a bonus action, they can magically teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space they can see. You can use this trait a number of times equal to their proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Okay, so they get a free bonus action. Don't remember exactly which race it is, but I know there's another elf, maybe the Eladrin or something, that have a similar kind of like free Misty Step here. But that's pretty awesome just to have that kind of movement. 30 feet to teleport as a bonus action, and they can do it at least twice a day based on their proficiency bonus here. And obviously that increases with their level. And then they don't need to sleep. Well, yeah, obviously it's astral trance. Okay, cool. Yeah, so trance is the same thing. It looks like this last paragraph is brand new, unless I'm just not remembering elves correctly, but it looks like they get a free proficiency. So once they finish a trance, they get a tool or weapon proficiency of their choice for free, which is awesome if you're planning like a heist or something and you want to get proficiency in thieves tools, or you know, some very unique situation where you need proficiency in a weapon or tool of their choice. Maybe they found an item like a weapon and they didn't have proficiency in it, but they sleep and now they do, and now they can use that magic item and add their bonuses. So that's pretty cool. Those are the Astral Elves. I mean, they're elves at the end of the day, but they look cool, and I really like their Astral Fire. I really like that. Next is the Autognome. So the Autognomes are the robots, so I'm really excited to see them, and their art looks really cool. I love how they made an effort to kind of show you kind of some 3 archetypes of different playstyles. So we've got kind of like a bard style Autognome on the left. We've got you know, a fighter, barbarian style, you know, sword and board Autognome in the middle, and I love how he's got little smokestacks. Maybe he's raging or something and it causes the smoke to pop out. And then on the right we have a wizard-looking Autognome with some little butterfly bird things. And then as far as, oh wow, they added some Autognome history on like how you got created. They're constructs. So that's interesting. I mean, seems obvious, but most of the playable races are humanoid, and I think other than the Warforged, this is like the only like construct that we have going on. So that might affect weapons and some of the other effects that they might run into, like spells and whatnot, like healing, because they're a construct. Small, 30 feet. Armored casing is pretty awesome. Looks like their armored class is 13 plus their dex modifier, which is amazing. Imagine having like a 16 or like an 18 dex, and then suddenly you have like, you know, 16 or 17 AC right off the bat as a character without having to don armor. Built for success, so they get to add a D4 to an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw for free. And it's their proficiency bonus as well. So at least 2 times a day, they can add a D4 to their rolls there, which is pretty awesome. Healing machine. If the mending spell is so they get healed by mending. So if the mending spell is cast on you, you can spend a hit die, roll it, and regain a number of hit points equal to the roll plus your con modifier. So it uses your hit die, so there's a limit to it. So one of your friends with the mending cantrip can't just keep on using it to heal you up to full. But it saves you a short rest, and it really makes folks that have mending a little bit more utilitarian, right? Like somebody who might not be a quote-unquote healer class, but has access to the mending spell, can now help out their Autognome friend with mending. Oh, look at that! So what I was worried about earlier about how spells don't affect constructs, they've written it in here that, you know, it ignores that saying that Cure Wounds doesn't affect constructs. So Cure Wounds, Healing Word, Mass Cure Wounds, Mass Healing Word, and Spare the Dying all work on constructs, which is good, because that could have been a bad situation, and, you know, probably sad if you're like in the middle of a fight and nobody can help you out because Cure Wounds won't work on you. Now you don't have to worry about that, and it helps you out. Mechanical nature, you have resistance to poison damage. That's huge. Like half the monsters, at least early levels, do poison damage. So you have resistance to poison damage and immunity to disease, and have advantage on saving throws against being paralyzed or poisoned. Wow, that's awesome. So they have advantage on saving throws against being paralyzed or poisoned. They don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. That's fantastic. So that means they can swim pretty good. Oh, wow. Okay. Perfect. Sentry's Rest. When you take a long rest, you spend at least 6 hours in an inactive, motionless state. Instead of sleeping, you appear inert, but you remain conscious. Okay, so it's a little bit like a trance, but 6 hours instead. And, yeah, so they get 2 tool proficiencies just by being Autognomes. That's awesome. I love this. Autognomes are so cool. I would love to play one. I think these are going to be fun characters to play. All right, next up are the Giff. I think I opened up a tab already. And wow, this is not what I remember. The Giff I remember had like a monocle and a big old gun. But these look a lot more formidable and less silly. Obviously, it looks like this one in the middle, I'm assuming that's a big gun. It's kind of like got a Metal Gear Solid vibe to them. Or like like Splinter Cell even. So it's like a rogue style Giff with like a potion and like a gun and, all black, like a stealth mission. This guy on the left, more of a barbarian style, and this Giff on the right looks kind of druidic with the camping pack and the birds there. But let's read what they have as far as their stats go. So we have their humanoids, medium size. I thought they'd be a little bit bigger, but yeah, they're medium. Their walking speed is 30 feet. Astral spark. So what is this? Your psychic connection to the astral plane enables you to mystically access a spark of divine power, which you can channel through your weapons. Okay, so when they hit a target with a simpler martial weapon, they cause the target to take extra force damage equal to their proficiency bonus. Okay, cool. So they just get extra damage. Is there no limit to that? When you hit a target with that's just extra damage. Wow, that's fantastic. So basically they do extra 2 damage or higher depending on their proficiency bonus, just because of this Astral Spark, which is awesome. Oh wait, I didn't read the next paragraph. Yeah, you can use this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, so it is limited. Okay, and no more than once per turn. Oh man. Yep, that's the power of line breaks. I did not see that, and I thought it was way more powerful than it actually was, but hey, damage is damage, so that's still helpful. Firearms Mastery. You have a mystical connection to firearms that traces back to the gods of the Giff, who delighted in such weapons. You have proficiency with all firearms and ignore the loading property. Okay, that is awesome. That you get to ignore the loading property of any firearm, so that speeds up, you know, how many attacks they can do. In addition, attacking at long range with a firearm doesn't impose disadvantage on your attack roll. Okay, so they can just snipe people without getting disadvantage. That's awesome. So they're just, it's kind of like blending a couple feats. What is it? I forget the feat for the... There's a feat that lets it where you ignore the loading property, and there's another one, Sharpshooter, obviously, where you don't have to worry about disadvantage on your attack roll, but it kind of combines both of them without having to take it. So if you're a firearms person, that would probably make you lean towards playing a Giff, because that's pretty cool. Hippo build. You have advantage on strength-based ability checks and saving throws. In addition, you count as one size large. Okay, that's where the one size larger comes into play when determining your carrying capacity. Okay, so they get advantage on those ability checks, strength saving throws, and they can carry a ton. So yeah, that artwork of the Giff with the backpack, he's probably carrying a ton. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is the Hadozee. Hadozee over here. Monkeys, okay, and they're not just monkeys, they have like wings, so they have wings going on. Cute. Okay, let's take a look at what they can do. So I wonder if they can fly. Okay, it looks like they can glide. Okay, so their walking speed is 30 feet, and they have a climbing speed equal to their walking speed, so they can climb for free, which is nice. And they're medium or small, so they can choose. And dexterous feet. As a bonus action, you can use your feet to manipulate an object. That's awesome. Oh wow. That's really cool. So manipulate an object, open or close a door or container, or pick up or set down a tiny object. There might not be too many practical effects to that, but I imagine, like, let's say you're in the middle of combat and like you're trying to distract somebody, or even that you're in the middle of a social encounter and you're distracting them with your hands up here, and you can move something with your legs down below and, you know, surprise them, catch them off guard by opening up I don't know, like a potion, a bottle with like a genie, or like a figurine of wondrous power. Really cool. I like that. Creative things you can do with dexterous feet. Glide. If you are not incapacitated or wearing heavy armor, you can extend your skin membranes and glide. When you do so, you can perform following aerial maneuvers. So you can move up to 5 feet horizontally for every 1 foot you descend in the air at no movement cost to you. Okay, at no movement cost to you. Okay, let me think about that. So, what? Okay, so they could... So if I jumped off like 10 feet tall, I could glide for 50 feet and then continue my normal speed for 30 feet. That is insane. At no movement cost to you? Okay. Wow. So like you would really, if you could plan the fight that you're going to be in, having the high ground is super important. Whether you have to retreat or if you have to, you know, do your thing, like get 2 people Having the high ground would let you escape really far. It would let you get to people really quickly. That's interesting. Yeah, okay. I wonder if there's a limit to that. There's no limit there written. So what if you were like 100 feet up? Can you just travel 500 feet for free? Alright, whatever. Anyway. When you would take damage from a fall, you can use your reaction to reduce the fall's damage to 0. Okay, so 0 damage from a fall if you have a reaction available to you. Hadozee Resilience. The magic that runs in your veins heightens your natural defenses. When you take damage, you can use your reaction to roll a d6. Okay, that's where this kind of comes into play then. So you might overuse your reaction and then fall down or something? I don't know. Add your proficiency bonus to the number rolled and reduce damage to take any amount to that a minimum of 0. Okay, so that's good. So d6 plus your proficiency bonus, and you just reduce your damage equal to your proficiency bonus per long rest. So that's pretty good. Yeah, that's awesome. I imagine these could be really fun rogues, really fun monks with that glide ability. That's really cool. I like that a lot. I like the Hadozee. Plasmoids. Okay, these I'm sure will be pretty interesting. The Plasmoids. Look at this art. He's riding a hamster. Or it's riding a hamster. It's just a big old blob, right? Okay, so they can go into humanoid shape and ride hamsters. And looks like they can go into little blob shape. Let's read kind of their abilities. So they're in a ooze. That we kind of run into that again. So if they're in an ooze, will that affect spells and effects and whatnot? Similar to the Autognomes. They're medium or small. They get to choose their size. Amorphous, so they can still squeeze to a space as narrow as 1 inch wide. Wow, that's awesome. Full-on blob effect. They have advantage on ability checks you make to initiate or escape a grapple, so you can just morph your way out of a grapple. Not for free, but you get advantage, which is good. Dark vision is good. Hold breath. So interesting. So they still need to breathe, which is interesting, but they can hold their breath for a whole hour. Natural resilience. Resistance to acid and poison damage. Lots of resistance to poison damage today. And you have advantage on saving throws against being poisoned. Shape self. As an action, you can reshape your body to give yourself a head, 1 or 2 arms, 1 or 2 legs, and makeshift hands and feet, or you can revert to a limbless blob. While you have a human-like shape, you can wear clothing and armor made for a humanoid of your size. Okay, so that's how. So they can actually wear armor, which is good. As a bonus action, you can extrude a pseudopod that is up to 6 inches wide and 10 feet long, or reabsorb it into your body. So a 10-foot-long, 6-inch pseudopod. That's pretty long. As part of the same bonus action, you can use a pseudopod to manipulate an object, open or close a door or container, or pick up or set down a tiny object. Okay, so it's basically like a little, little mage hand or something. Pseudopod contains no sensory organs and can attack, activate magic items, or lift more than 10 pounds. Cool, awesome. That's really fancy. Can you? Yeah, it can't attack. That's the thing. Okay. I was gonna say that's a free 10-foot reach for a just slap somebody from 10 feet away. That'd be cool. Okay, I like the blob people, the Plasmoids, very interesting. And then last, the Thri-Kreen. So these are the last that I'm going to be doing kind of a quick overview of. And yeah, here we go, Thri-Kreen. So Thri-Kreen, wow, look at that. These are awesome. They look like the grasshoppers from Ants, but like hardcore. I love it. So they're monstrosities. So they're big into the different creature types this book. So that's interesting. Chameleon Carapace. While you aren't wearing armor, so they also get a 13 plus dex modifier for their armor. So that's just as much as the Autognome there. And they can also change the color of the carapace to match the color and texture of their surroundings, giving them advantage on dex saves, or sorry, dex stealth checks made to hide in those surroundings, which is okay. That's really cool. So they can basically just chameleon into different places. Dark vision you can see in dim light. Okay. Secondary arms. They have more arms. You have 2 slightly smaller secondary arms below your primary pair of arms. The secondary arms can manipulate an object, open or close a door or container, pick up or set down, or wield a weapon that has the light property. Wow, okay. So they can wield a weapon that has a light property with your secondary arms. I wonder if you can then do, like, have a 2... Like, if you can do a 2-weapon attack So like attack with your bonus action for your second weapon, but with your first weapon attack with like a weapon that requires 2 hands because you have your secondary arms. So that could be really cool for like a fighter or somebody with a lot of weapons. That's really cool. Sleepless, they don't require sleep. Still refrain from strenuous activity to gain this benefit. And then Thri-Kreen telepathy. Without the assistance of magic, you can't speak the non-Thri-Kreen languages you know. Instead, you use telepathy to convey your thoughts. You have the magical ability to transmit your thoughts mentally to willing creatures you can see within 120 feet to yourself. A contacted creature doesn't need to share a language with you to understand your thoughts, but it must be able to understand at least one language. Okay, so you can't speak to things that don't know languages, but you can speak to anything that knows one language. Your telepathic link to a creature is broken if you and the creature move more than 120 feet apart. So yeah, that's really cool. There's a warlock ability, Pact of the Old Ones or whatever, the patron of the old god, where they can awaken mind. That's similar to this, but this is 120 feet, which I think is a lot longer than the warlock ability. But yeah, oh my gosh! So these are exciting new races for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, all coming from Spelljammer Adventures in Space. I'm super excited for a couple of them. So I think they're all great thematically, and I want to read more of like the actual lore about these different things, especially for the Plasmoid, the Thri-Kreen, and the Autognomes. But I think the art looks amazing. They all have amazing abilities. It looks like they're going heavy on all of them having some sort of ability that's limited by their proficiency bonus. And I think 3 of them all had different ways to manipulate things with appendages of their bodies that, you know, aren't just your hands. So that's really cool, and a theme that's throughout. I think the Giff would be amazing for firearms. The Thri-Kreen look like they'd be great for like martial classes, and Autognome looks like they could just be fun in general. Yeah, like a wizard I think would be really good with that armored casing there. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit the like button. I know this is much less high production than I normally am, but I just wanted, again, to give you my first impressions of the Spelljammer races. So yeah, see you next time. Stay toasty.